What's up, fellas? So I went to the track on Sunday, the 19th, I think it was, of October. So weather was good. Uh, but it got better as the night went on. You know, of course, it cools off. The barometric pressure goes up a little bit because it had been raining in the morning. So we weren't even sure they were going to be open, but they did. So I made the trek up there. I took the red car. It was going to be my last runs in it before I took and converted it back to like a full street car with air conditioning, power steering, and all that stuff. So first pass was just kind of like a reorientation, trying to remember the processes and stuff. And one thing I forgot to do, and it showed up on the third pass, was I always put the seat up a couple of notches and flip the back up, you know, so I ain't got the gangster mode. I can get in the race mode, so to speak. Well, I forgot to do that. So first pass, nothing to write home about. It was like can't even hardly tell because they got half the numbers, half the top half of the numbers are gone. So I didn't speed shift. I just kind of like hustled it a little bit. And the second one, I did speed shift. It was a good pass, slow, which I anticipated it being slow. And that was 163 60 foot, 765 at 90.8. The reason I anticipated it being slower is from the last time I run last year with the 302 in it, I had put the stock hood back on. I swapped to a QA1K member. I swapped the Accufab headers for the BBK 1 3/4 long tubes, and I put the other seat in it. And I also had a tune in there. I was monkeying with increasing the top part of the MAF curve to see what it would do to short-term fuel trims. I forgot to take it out and put the regular one back in. And I also had, besides a whole different, intake, and I had a Holley upper, Holley Systemax. But the upper is the one I've taken like 3.5 inches out of the top, so it's like a short runner intake when it's still like a, what do you call it? Long runner. And so instead of having 14 inches runner length, it has like 11.5, which is good for higher RPM, but I wasn't turning higher RPMs. I was only shifting at 6,000, launching at 4,500 because I had a steel flywheel, lightweight steel. So I was, instead of launching at 59 like I did with the aluminum flywheel, I just bumped it down and I was thinking I'd just go up with it. And I needed to because you can see in the videos that it kind of comes up and then drops down, then goes forward instead of coming up and going forward. So I needed to up the RPM at the launch, but I never got the chance because on the third pass, it was some grudge car. He was taking forever, and I got up there to go to stage. I was just kind of waiting on him to get closer with all of his entourage, helping him do his burnout and get staged and all that. I realized I forgot to put the seat up and tip the recliner part of the seat up too. So I was sitting there thinking, man, should I try that now? And then he staged, and then so I staged, but then I rolled back out of the staging, so I had to bump it back in, and then we had a pro tree. So my reaction time was like 0.8. And the 60 foot was 169. Yeah. So not that great, but like I said, it needed more RPM. It needed more RPM in the launch, and I should have turned the shift light up, which I was going to do if I got through the evening, to get back in it, but never made it that far. So I went to go to third on that last pass, and I had to kind of reach to do it, and instead of hitting third, I clanged it, and so I pulled off the road of shame and tried to go up the hill, and I could hear this grinding. I said, oh, damn it. I was not happy about that because, like I said, the intention was to bring this back home, get it cleaned up, swap the rear end, swap the K-member, all that stuff, put the AC and power steering back on, and now I got to pull the transmission. So, and I was actually thinking on the way to the track, man, if, it would probably be such a better overall finished product if I painted the engine bay. And now, shit, I got to take the transmission out. I'm like halfway there, so I'll probably end up doing that. So, but for right now, what I'm doing, let me show you. Here, I got to get you off this thing. These fantastic iPhones, you can't do it on the fly. So what I'm doing is I took the 315/35 off of Vince's car to fit it on here to see what I want to do. Because I had two 45/45s on the front before with a factory wheel. And then I had a 17x9 aftermarket wheel on the back when I ran a 275/40 or 285/40. So I was leaning toward that, but then I thought, well, staggered, you know, 9s on the front and 10s on the back would look pretty fat. So I might do that. I haven't decided yet. And then, of course, once I get everything done with the rear end, I'm putting a 373 back in. Actually, it had before. And then Cobra wheels, like I said, AC power steering, full interior, all that stuff. Back to a full-on street car that'll just be a nice car you can drive pretty much anywhere. I mean, I drive pretty much anywhere now, but the 2 hours to the track is, I just don't like. I like going to the track, but I don't like the 2 hours to get there. But kind of got to come with that for now. So I've got some other videos. I took videos of Patrick. Let me see. Yeah, so I took videos, or Patrick took a video of mine, and then I took videos of Coyote Brian. He did really good. He got into the 730. He thought was his best, and then he made, I think the last pass of the night was the 728. Eric was killing it with a bunch of 7.0s. He was so frustrated he couldn't get into the 690s. And Rodney was in the 660s, I think, with his, the FLTD. And then Kevin ran 730s, I believe. I forget what the mile an hour was. Oh, Coyote Brian, 628 at 108 miles an hour. It's pretty fucking cool. Oops. Freaking, I meant. The best this turd ever ran was a 713 at 97.9. And that was 2 years ago. That was when I had the 488 gear in the back, T5Z. I think I had the Holley on, or else the TFSR box, the ported AFR heads. I mean, this engine here probably makes similar power to that, but it just, I wasn't getting up on the RPMs. Hadn't got to that point where I could turn the shift light up. When I saw, well, I took the 488s out of this and I put them in the Trooper car, and the same with the Z-Spec, because that's the important one to go, you know, to make passes at the track. This was always the intention to turn this one back into a street car and then sell it. So that's where it's at. Like I said, I'm just trying to decide where to, which tire package to go with when I get it back in the garage. I got to get a couple other things done on the Trooper car, and then I can pull this in there and start tearing it apart. And all of this, the brakes, the rear end, the 456s are going to go into the Skylar car, the white one, and then this will get 373's Cobra brakes, blah, 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 all that stuff. And, of course, I got to fix the transmission. All right, we'll show you the videos here in a second. Appreciate y'all. So I went and looked through the video I did Monday about when I was fitting the tires onto the LX. And I was like, man, I forgot something. A huge thing I forgot is I got to give a big salute to Eric for letting me borrow his truck and trailer the other night after my transmission shitted the bed up at Atmo. At first, I was going to have try to nurse my car to Michael's house because he's like 15 miles away from the track or so. And then I was going to borrow his mom's truck and then to go home and then come back the next day with a trailer and my pickup and then haul my car back home. And then Eric put his big brain in gear and he says, why don't we swap your street tires onto my car and then put the slicks back on your car, and then you can put your car in a trailer and I'll drive my car, his car, you know, home. I said, man, that's that'll work. So I've driven this truck before. I think I hauled Mustang here with it. But so he's got a dually crew cab F350 and a trailer. So, and that thing hauls nice. But when I got home, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And the next morning, like 6, I go back outside to start unloading the car. And I didn't even notice, but there was one of the trailer tires had blown out. And there was only like the bead was left around the outside of it. I just inserted a picture there. So, yeah, so I went down and tried to hit, I think I hit like 4 places before I found a tire that size. And to his benefit, they were all the same size. There was a spare in the truck, but I didn't want to use that. I just went and got a new tire. And took the trailer home, and I'd let him know. I texted him right away when I realized that the tire was blown out. I didn't even notice. I don't know if you're accustomed to hauling a trailer. I know when we went up to get the Dugan Wagon, Michael noticed the tire was going before it let go by the way it pulled. But then he uses the sham blue. He uses that a lot. So anyway, so we got it home, got it off the trailer, and then I took it back that afternoon, stopped and filled it up for him. Again, thanks a bunch for that, Eric. And yes, I know I need to get a trailer before I go back up there with something. But that was it. I wanted to add, about the trailer. And then, I remembered the other thing, because I was thinking there's 5 or 6 things with the red car that I said doing it, each little thing is just kind of almost insignificant by itself, but it, there was altogether, I knew it would make a difference in the car. So like I said, the best it did was a 713 at 97.9. That was like 2 years ago. And the math on that says that mile an hour should have been good for a 695. So I don't know if I'd have got there, if I'd have kept working at it. I was launching at 5,900 and shifting at 6,000. And that short block, it's got aftermarket crank and rods and pistons. It's been balanced. So it could have easily, I could have run it to 65 or even 7 and picked up ET, I'm sure. But never got there. Like I said, I was trying to nurse it because I wanted to use the short block and something else. And of course, those plans changed, and I ended up putting that same short block back in the car. But it had a smaller cam. It had that old Camshaft Innovations J. Allen cam. That was from, like 2004, maybe, when I bought that. And it's not ideally suited for this combination. That was for when I had the GT40 intake. So I did advance the cam a couple of degrees. But that's only 218, 227. The other cam that I had in it at the time when it ran to 713 is the one that Eric has in his car now. It's 223, 230 in there. So it's something I've learned, though, that the long runner intakes like a bigger cam. If you got a single plane intake, they can usually work better with a smaller cam. You don't need to go so large. But the long runner ones, you need a bigger cam. and it'll help. I'm thinking anyway. So I guess that's it. I just want to wrap that up and throw that in there. And then I'm working on a 93LX, cleaning the bottom. Got the hood sanded. That'll be in the next video. All right, appreciate y'all. Later.